Joy News Prime.
Tonight on Joy News Prime, Electoral Commission announces to political parties at an IPAC meeting it has deleted the names of the over 56,000 persons who got onto the voters register using their National Health Insurance cards. Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu finally yields to calls by the Kumasi Traditional Council for him to resign or be fired by President Mahama and steps down from office. Supreme Court adjourns to Monday, July 18, contempt hearing against two radio panelists and their station's managers who threatened members of the judiciary.
And in business, a couple of weeks after passing the Depositors Protection Bill, Parliament has again passed the Banks and Specialized Deposit Taking Bill, expected to address inconsistencies in the banking laws. We explore its relevance and implications.
And some women march in Accra to demand sanctions against MP Fuasin Central for what they describe as derogatory remarks made against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Also in the bulletin, available across Europe on ABN Television, is sports, entertainment, and Joy News Interactive. Stay tuned. Now, there have been mixed reactions from residents of the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, to the resignation of the TT's Metropolitan Assembly boss, Kojo Bonsu. Mr. Bonsu bowed to pressure from chiefs in that region to step down following accusations he had disrespected them. Well, despite an apology from Mr. Bonsu, the president for Mr. Bonsu and demanding that the president remove him, citing, among others, what they describe as gross disrespect towards the Santihene's chosen representative on the KJCR Central Market project, the Amwamahene Nana Ejenim Boateng. Earlier today, in a press release, Kojo Bonsu indicated he had informed the president of his resignation. Well, in Kumasi, his decision to step down has been met with anger by some residents, whilst others have welcomed it. Erastus Asari Donko has been on this beat, and he joins me on the line with more. Good evening to you, Erastus. Now, you say reactions to Kojo Bonsu's resignation are mixed. What are people saying?
Well, it depends on where you are, where you belong to, and what affiliation you have. If you speak with the assembly members, a section of who were calling for his head recently, then they are saying it's a good deal for them. They have achieved their aim, and what they've been hammering home all this time has been achieved. But then if you speak with people on the street, there are many who are saying that, well, if he disrespected the chief, he should have apologized. So if he didn't, the outcome is not beyond their expectations. But then there are party supporters who besieged the Regional Coordinating Council this evening. They were very angry. They were saying that they were at the book launch. You know, he launched his book of achievements today. And at that venue, at the Mechlin Hotel, he was expected to announce that resignation. Word went round, the people went up to him and you know, chanting songs and all that, asking him not to resign. Just shortly after that, I got a copy of the resignation letter. And so they were saying that, well, he deceived them, and they are so disappointed.
All right, Erastus, I'd like you to hold on a bit. I have a copy of the resignation letter which you intercepted and you sent over to us. It's here. I'll read it for the benefit of the viewers, and then I'll come back to you. It says it's written on the letterhead of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, and it's dated July 12, 2016. It says, press statement, resignation as Metropolitan Chief Executive of KMA. I have conveyed my resignation as the Metropolitan Chief Executive of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I want to express my profound gratitude once again to the President for giving me an opportunity to serve our dear country. I also want to express my appreciation to Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu II, Nananum of the Kumasi Traditional Council, as well well as staff of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and the people of Kumasi for their support and cooperation during my tenure. I'm happy at the strides made in the area of peace and development, as well as the enduring legacy recorded during the period. I wish the government well, and I will continue to give of my best to ensure the re-election of President John Mahama in the upcoming election. And it's signed, Metropolitan Chief Executive, Honorable Kojo Bonsu. So has Mr. Bonsu himself said anything following the reactions to his exit?
Well, he has not said anything. In fact, I have been with him today, but he told me that he's doing this from his own volition. He's not having any pressures from government or from any source. He has decided to resign, and he wants to keep it aside. But if you would like to comment, it will be after Otunfo has spoken or reactions have come from the chief, whether they have accepted his decision and they are okay now and peace has reigned, then he will speak. But for now, he wants to remain silent. But then he's not perturbed about comments by people that are hailing his resignation. He says it's part of life and that he wants to progress from there and focus his attention on helping the president win elections this year.
All right, Erastus, I'd just like you to hold on once again. We have reactions coming in from Kumasi. Let's hear those reactions and then I'll come back to you.
Atosini
we will not vote for the NDC again. Why have they frustrated the mayor to resign? Has he committed any crime? Kojo Bonsu is a very good man. He shouldn't have resigned.
What crime has the mayor committed? Why must he resign? Most of these traditional council members are only playing politics. He shouldn't have resigned.
Right, so those were some reactions from residents of Kumasi. I'd want to believe that they're supporters of Mr. Kojo Bonsu, the mayor of Kumasi, who's just resigned. Now, Erastus, we got these reactions from the launch of, Mr. Kojo Bonsu was supposed to launch his Book of Achievements, and we got these reactions from that launch. Can you tell us what's in this Book of Achievements?
Well, if you look at the Book of Achievements, it's a sort of pictorial guide to what he has done so far in his 3 years in office. Behind the book, the cover of the book is beautifully crafted. It bears a picture of the hands of a female adorned with beads, and it says hashtag transforming Kumasi, and Kumasi is where Ghana happens. When you look into the book, the first page, you have a picture of the president, John Dramani Mahama. The second page, there's a picture, a beautiful picture indeed, of the Asantehene Otunfo with the second. And then it goes on to spread pictures of the Rattray Park, for example, how it looks like in the night, how it looks like during daytime. And then it has pictures of the CBD, that's the Central Business District of Kumasi. And then a pictorial view, an area view of how the Kumasi KGCR Central Market Project is progressing steadily. And then they have pictures of dormitories, clinics, infrastructure projects, asphalt overlay projects in Kumasi, pictures of what he has been able to do, achievements within the book as well. The final page, of course, is a beautiful picture of him looking in the direction of a small speech that has been put there. So that is what he launched today as the legacy, as he calls it, is leading the people of Kumasi. And then there are pictorial views of what he intended to do for Kumasi, the vision he had, an artist's impression of that.
All right, Erastus, it's also quite interesting that he's launching this book of achievements on the day that he's actually resigning. What's the relationship?
Exactly, and so he took people by surprise. And when many of them had gathered and they thought it was just a book launch. And then within the program, then word went round that he has intentions of resigning. And in fact, there was a purported resignation letter he was holding at the time. And one of his brothers came into the room and snatched the letter from him. And there are many people who started chanting that people should stop hounding him. He should not resign. He should stay in office. He has done nothing. He should go ahead and do what he's doing. So after the book launch, I followed him, and that is why I intercepted a copy of the resignation, and we were able to put it out. So it came as a surprise to many, and if they had known, they are saying they wouldn't have allowed him to resign.
All right, thank you very much, Erastus Asare Donkor, bringing us up to speed on issues happening in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, where the mayor has resigned. Now, local governance expert George Cheybarfor says the resignation of the mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, or the chief executive of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Kojo Bonsu, is not a surprise. He calls it a step in the right direction after pressure from traditional authorities in Kumasi. After Kojo Bonsu's 3-year reign, George Cheybarfor says it was better for the mayor to resign than be dismissed by the president.
We do not have the opportunity of going into the merits of the issue. But we are confronted with a challenge, a very solid tradition. You know, if you look at Ashanti traditions, customs, practices, and usage, they have peculiarity because of the factor of Otumfo. And for that matter, when we are in direct conflict with them, no matter the circumstance, no matter the gravity, I think the best thing is to avert it. And if you don't, and it gets to a point like that when sheep are slaughtered and the necessary final, customs and traditions have been applied, it is difficult to determine the merit of the action of Nananom. I am not surprised at the current development because everybody foresaw it. Everybody saw it coming. At the point when the chief had firmly taken a decision that they would want him out of office, the president had only 2 options: either to oblige the traditional authorities or to insist on imposing him on them. And then also maybe persuading Kojo Bonsu himself to resign. I think that the latter option is the best, as he has done, by resigning. Because if the president had dismissed him, it would have sent some semblance of negative signals around that when the president appoints somebody to represent him and there's a pressure from any group, not necessarily traditional authorities, the president will have to yield to those pressures because the president has been said. So I've always advocated for Kojo Bonsu's own resignation. I think he's done the right thing.
And there's also news from the Supreme Court. We'll be back in a bit. Please stay tuned. You're also watching Joy News Prime. Now, the Electoral Commission is said to have announced the deletion of the names of the over 56,000 voters who got onto the voters register with their National Health Insurance cards. It follows the Supreme Court's order for the names to be removed and the affected persons given a chance to register using a recognized national ID. The National Democratic Congress's Director of Elections, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, told newsmen the EC announced the deletion at an Inter-Party Advisory Committee or IPAC meeting in Accra on Tuesday. Favor Nunu monitored the IPAC meeting and he joins me in the studio. Good evening to you, Favor. Right, so this information about the deletion is not coming directly from the Electoral Commission, but we don't have any reason to doubt it, do we?
No, it's not coming from the EC, but then we cannot doubt it. That's because we were present, we were monitoring the entire IPAC meeting. It started around 2:30 thereabout and then ended around 5:30. But essentially, when the Director for Elections for the NDC, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, actually came out, we engaged him, and then he was very clear in his mind that the EC has given them the word that it has gone ahead to delete the 56,000 names, and that tomorrow they're actually going to be giving a list of these names by electronic copy. So we can actually listen to him.
The Commission has informed us that they have deleted all the 56,720 names or thereabouts from their register. And again, on the question of continuous registration, it is still at the discussion level, and so we haven't concluded, because the Political Party Reform Committee are supposed to look at the modalities for the continuous registration. When it is agreed, then the Electoral Commission can then implement Regulation 9.1, which talks about continuous registration.
One thing that we would have wanted to know is to know if the EC gave you clearly how they actually removed these names from the register.
They have the database of everybody there. So they know once they command, there's a command that when they get those names and they give a command, the command is able to remove those names. We ask a question that if somebody goes to the exhibition center and the person's name is not found in the register because his name might inadvertently or mistakenly be removed, what does the person do? And the answer is that is why everybody ought to take advantage of the exhibition. Go and check your name. If you go and your name is not in the register and you have your card, an opportunity will be given to you to fill the forms, and after the filling of that forms, they will take steps to ensure that your name is included in the register.
The NPPs, as those who raised concerns about the no verification, no vote annulment, did that issue come up, and how was it addressed?
Well, at IPAC, both the MPP and NDC are against manual verification, but the Electoral Commission thinks otherwise, and they have put it in the law. Once it's part of the law, we have to accept it and see how best to go about it.
Do you foresee any challenges that would come along with the manual verification?
There are likely to be challenges. Because on election day, the temperature is different. The tension is different.
Right, so it's interesting that here we have the national or the director of relations of the NDC indicating that the NDC is also not in favor of the scrapping of the no verification, no vote policy. But the EC had indicated, going back to the issue of the deletion of the names, the EC had indicated that it was first going to issue or announce the modalities for the deletion before the deletion. Is there any reason or explanation why he decided to just go ahead and delete without telling?
Okay, so asking Samuel Owusu-Ampofo, he wasn't clear as to how the EC went about the deletion, except that he proffered an example or an explanation that says that the EC having a database could easily go into this database and then extract these names and then delete them. But then the EC affords a process that those whose name have been removed can actually go through and then get back on the national register, which is that from tomorrow the list will be provided for political parties, and then going forward the names of these people who have been removed from the register, having registered with the NHIS cards, would actually be published in the dailies, and also their names will be actually published at the various district offices. So for those who are suspecting that they may have registered with NHIS cards, it's in their interest to actually go to the various district offices or look out for the various newspapers. A very known daily would actually have their names published in there. Right. Then they can go ahead and then re-register.
What has been the reaction of the other political parties to this
for the NPP, essentially, they weren't, I wouldn't say they were unhappy about it. The response was good from Peter McMahon, who I spoke to, but then they were not very emphatic in saying, as Owusu-Ampofo said, that the 56,000 names have been deleted. All they said was it's a working process. They are going to look forward to the publishing of the names, the various persons that would come about during the exhibition, and let all of this settle. Then they can be sure that indeed the 56,000 names have been deleted. But they still talk about the fact that these are just 56,000 names, and the chances are, if they discover new names going forward and it's presented to the EC, chances are how will the EC go about this? So it isn't a battle that has ended yet, because they are thinking there may be more names that if they find, they should be able to bring it to the EC. We can actually have a listen at Peter McMahon.
It's work in progress. Yes. So right. If it's been deleted, I don't know, but I know it's work in progress.
Didn't you discuss that in the meeting? Didn't that discussion come up?
It's what I've given you. As for the 56,000, everybody knows the Supreme Court sitting That is the number that the EC went, and the Supreme Court has ordered them to go delete and re-register. So it's a process. It's not an event. So I am saying that the process has some kind of transition. You will transit one stage of the process and go to the other. You will delete first, ask the public to know. And that's why I'm saying they are going to place an advert in one national daily and then at the various centers. That has not been done. So that is part of the process.
Based on those processes, wouldn't it be surprising that the EC would have already deleted?
And I'm saying it is work in progress, because it's not a kind of work that you can do by a stroke and say you have done with the NHIS registrants. You have to do it in various stages. One, you delete. Two, give them opportunity to come and register. Even before then, post their names in the national dailies, in the various EC offices. So all these are stages. So the order from the Supreme Court cannot be carried out by a stroke of a pen. It is a process. And I'm saying, because it's a process, you may finish one step or stage of the process, then the others will be work in progress.
Did questions about the issue of no verification, no vote come up? Did you have that opportunity to discuss it?
Well, she explained.
Right, so you heard Peter McMenu. He's the campaign manager for the New Patriotic Party for the 2016 election, speaking there to my colleague Favor Nunu. Meanwhile, Frank Davis, one of the lawyers for Abu Ramadan, who sued the EC over the electoral roll, says that news of their deletion comes as a surprise to him. According to him, they will make sure the commission deletes all other names on the roll which were registered illegally.
If I in excess of that, that's what they deleted exactly. I'm just wondering, you are not part. I know when we spoke to you the day you won this case, you were keen on working with the EC to do this in a way that you believe agrees with the directives of the court. You were not involved in the process. You don't even know how the deletions came about. Are you happy with that?
Well, I'm not too happy, but I mean, ordinarily, the work of the EC is always confined to the EC, like they always say. They are independent, so they've been ordered by the court to carry out a process, an exercise. My job is that, from what I said from the beginning, that in all these things, there are stakeholders, and the stakeholders are the political parties. My job is that they have at least involved the political parties in the exercise. The elections are being run for political parties and not for the EC. So if the political in the IPAC meeting and they are happy with what the EC has done, I mean, that is fair. But ordinarily, I mean, if they wanted to involve us, I think they should have invited us. But hey, I mean, it is, and if they have done what they were ordered to do, I mean, that's okay.
Will you, from now, be engaging the EC at all to get a list yourselves? Because there was a concern you expressed the last time about whether the 56,000 excess names that provided to the Supreme Court was the complete and total.
Of the court were appointed. It's the list they brought to court, and others not found on the list. So if they have deleted the 56,772, what we are left now are the others which are not found on the list. And that would be a combined exercise between the EC and the political parties and an IPAC.
Well, in other news, the Supreme Court has adjourned to Monday, July 18, the contempt hearing involving the two radio panelists and the host who threatened judges in the country on Accra-based radio station Monty FM. The case was adjourned after the contemnors argued that they were not served with a writ until Tuesday morning, a position which was corroborated by the court registrar. Joy News reporter Raymond Aqua was in court and filed this report.
Prior to the hearing, the Chief Justice Georgina Wood and Justice Sulik Badegbe recused themselves, paving way for Justices Sophia Akufo and Julius Ansah to join a reconstituted panel chaired by Her Ladyship Akufo. According to Mrs. Wood and Badegbe, they were directly mentioned by the contemnors in their alleged threat to kill judges sitting on the voters' register case. A shareholder of Monty FM, Edward Addo, was the only member who represented the company in court on Tuesday. The court did not understand why the other directors and owners of the radio station were not in court. It rejected the claim by Nana Dadzie that the rest of the owners of the radio station are out of the jurisdiction and demanded that the entire owners of Munti FM should have been in court since it is a corporate body. Nana Dadzie then withdrew his earlier plea and asked for more time to produce them. The court agreed to this and dismissed Edward Addo to reappear with the others on Monday, July 18, warning it will not tolerate any excuses on Monday when it sits on the matter.
Right after the break, though, we'll bring you business news. The Concerned Women of Ghana Coalition on Tuesday organized a march through some of Accra streets to protest comments attributed to the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ejapong, described as derogatory. The MP is said to have suggested that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission exchanged sexual favors for her position. The mainly female protesters at the end of the march presented a petition to Parliament demanding the MP for Asin Central be sanctioned. Jennifer Kwamwa joined the marchers and reports.
The women, scores of them from all corners of the capital, marched through some of the principal streets waving placards with inscriptions such as "Kennedy must apologize" and "Power to the Women of Ghana." The women of all ages and backgrounds marched in a show of solidarity with the EC chairperson to demand an apology and subsequent sanctions from Parliament.
Where you have a party articulating for the elevation of women in power and the importance of that role on the one hand, and then one of its senior members makes the kind of comment that doesn't just insult the individual woman about whom the comment was made, but insults all of us as Ghanaian women. So as a Ghanaian woman, as a citizen, as a member of the media, as a media lecturer, I think it's really important to be out here today in support not just of the chairperson, but also to send a message to the NPP that you cannot, on the one hand, advocate for our gender and in the next breath insult us and expect that to stand. It is unacceptable.
Yeah, we are demonstrating this morning because of what Kennedy Ejapong has said to women. We are women. So we are angry, very, 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 very angry, because you have to respect a woman. Because he born with a woman born him, so you have to respect a woman. That's why we are demonstrating this morning. What he has said to the woman is not right, so Kennedy Ejapong must go.
The coalition's leaders handed over their petition to the leader of the Women's Caucus in Parliament, Hajia Mary Salifu Boforo, who promised that the matter will be attended to as soon as possible.
On behalf of the Speaker, I'm here to receive the petition for him. And what you are expecting from Mr. Speaker, he will accordingly do that. So we are sending it to him. Whatever happens, we'll let you know. We are so grateful. Women all over all over Accra, even nationwide, are all here. We will send a message. The Speaker will do accordingly because he's the man of the women. He will do it.
Secretary of the coalition, Hajia Alima, explained to Joy News what they expect from the Speaker concerning the matter.
We were in this country when Black Rasta and some other people made some pronouncements against the members of Parliament. Quickly after the day, they were called to the disciplinary committee. Why Kennedy Ejapong? Why is it that he alone, they are not inviting him? That is why we are saying that where we are now, enough is enough. He started this a long ago. It's long overdue. So now we are saying that Parliament should call Kennedy Ejapong to order.
Although the petition cited a prominent member of the NPP, no member of the leading opposition party was available for comment. For Joy News, Jennifer Kwamwa reporting.
Right, there's only one thing that follows that jingle. It's entertainment, and Miss G is here to deliver
Hello, Israel.
Hi, Miss G.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, Israel. But Israel, you know how entertainers think that the structures are not well in place, and sometimes they tend to think that if they were lawmakers, they'll make things much better.
Okay, yeah. They've been talking about.
They've been talking about structures, and the government should do this and the government should do that. Well, Ibrahim Bembako, at DKB's point of view, decided to find out from entertainers if they were into politics, would things be better? Here's what they had to say.
Well, I don't think it's about politics. You know, that's something that, I mean, Nana has indoctrinated me about. It's about us, the people, demanding with this performance. You know, I'm sure those who turn DKB down will forever regret turning him down, because this was a good show. I mean, world-class show, well attended. And if anybody is serious, will take after this one, will also know that if you put up a good show, you market it well, it will be patronized. Of course, we need them in politics, but I don't think it's the politics that will do the trick.
Actually, not necessarily, you know, because the structures that we are looking for are very specific structures that it takes people with a certain knowledge of the industry to implement those structures. So it could be an entertainer, but it would not necessarily mean that you understand what is needed, you know. So not necessarily, but it could be also that you have an entertainer who can go into parliament and be aware of what needs to be done.
The politics is different from entertainment. I mean, if you check your records, you realize that all the guys who are into show business, when they end up in politics, they can't help showbiz. They do politics. They are two different worlds.
Well, I heard some time back that the government was actually helping with the industry, and I don't know how far it went, but I believe they should still put their foot down and be part of it, because we need it. We need them. So, and I believe that there'll be a lot of change when that happens.
I have political ambitions. I want to be president of Ghana. Yeah, so then what you're asking me now makes a lot of sense to me. I am not far from any entertainer in Ghana that can be president someday. If I'm not president tomorrow, it could be my classmate or my friend or the guy I met in the club 20 years ago. So it could be anybody. Same way it could be me. So maybe by 2028, 2030, you see me on some platform and I'm like...
So you heard it here for the first time, vying for presidency. Somebody. Okay.
All right, so that's Samini wanted to be president, and some other people speaking about, you know, structures and how it doesn't matter if an entertainer is into politics or not, you know. But let's move away from that. Have you ever heard the song? Debia Mundumamunso, Debia Nadumso.
No.
Dumso. You've not heard a Dumso song? Oh, no. That song is so old, but it was put together by Natirial, one of the guys who went for a reality show, and then he hung out with Doreen Aview and he spoke to her about the aftermath of his reality show.
You know, initially, I just I let everything. I'm just trying to let everything go, but you know, it got to a point. I've noticed that so many things this guy did to me, he hasn't even set to realize that I'm someone's son, someone's only son. But, you know, he is enjoying the money with his family. Meanwhile, he thinks I don't know what he has been doing. I haven't been following him. I'm just trying to better my life, because a young guy coming, I can't put certain things on me, then it will distract me from achieving my goals. So I just forgot about this guy, trying to move on. But he was just because I moved away from him for just 2 years and I came to drop Dumso. He has been tracking me here and there, trying to pull me down, but I don't get it. You have my money, pay the money. Some time ago he called me and he was like, he wanted to support my music, and I'm like, man, if you really want to support me, pay me the rest of the money before we can work again, because I can't come and fall into the pit I fell again. That was how, you understand? So right now, I mean, I've just advised myself, if he brings the money, I will embrace it. But one thing I want the public and him to know that is that he should just let me be, and then he should just watch it, because once God has chosen me to be the winner, no man can just put anything I'm gonna do aside, you understand? I'm just working hard for God, and God just chose me, and with God I have everything.
All right, so that's Natural speaking after his turn at the reality show. But you know, at the recently held VGMAs, Irene Logan, who didn't win the Female Vocalist of the Year, tweeted and said that it was a waste of time, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you didn't see that tweet, that's the tweets for you on the screens now. The tweets will be going on the screen. So, Israel, you can read that to us.
Okay, so it's kind of a waste of time to be nominated over and over for a category that has so little respect. And this was on May 8, 2016, 12:26 a.m. I guess shortly after the event. And Irene Logan again says, who's tweeting Irene Logan GH, winning or not winning doesn't change much in my life, but for the sake of the spirit of great voices. And she tweeted at Charterhouse GH. It's blasphemy.
Okay. You know, so when we saw those tweets from her, we thought it was at Miss V because she won the Female Vocalist of the Year. Now, the revelation which never came out, because I remember that Ibrahim Bembako tried to get it out of her at the Vlisco Female of the Year Awards, and she said she was not going to speak to the issue. Miss V says Irene actually placed the call to her.
My number, and she called me, and she made me know it wasn't about me. She's been nominated every year for the VGMAs. I don't know, but it's her issue with Charterhouse, and it's not with me at all. She called to apologize. She even tweeted again at me to apologize. So I think people saw it the wrong way.
Well, that was a nice gesture to have come from, you know,
Irene Logan, yes, because everybody thought it was against Miss V winning the award and all that, you know. So, nah, it's very civil to do that. It's very mature.
Very mature, very decent, very polished.
Very. But Irene, you have a great voice. We wish that one of these days you pick up an award. But on the same night, Miss V wore a gown, like the gowns would say, a gown. Yeah, that's what you say.
Please, no.
That's what you guys say. A gong.
It's not true.
It will gong.
It's not true.
You know. But let's go back to see the gown that Miss V wore on that day.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's the gown, a very fine gown. And I remember very well that I was in the Joy FM newsroom when one of my colleagues came to me with a message on his phone and said, somebody sent him a message and said, Miss V's gown was just $100. And I'm like, really? What's anybody's business about how much the gown cost? Why would we expect her to wear a gown more expensive than $100? Well, maybe because she's a celebrity. But Miss V didn't deny it.
You have to value on price and stuff like that. I thought it was a beautiful dress. I could have gone to buy a very expensive dress, but it was just really stunning, and I decided to wear it. I think that it looked really good, and I got €1,000 for it from Eurostar Limousine, so I don't know why it's a problem. And at the end of the day, one person saying something negative about something doesn't mean it's bad. Like people saying celebrities, like if you wear something twice, they're complaining. I can wear something I have 1,000,000 times, and I don't mind who complains about it because I want to wear it. I don't know why it's a problem, really. No. So they definitely force celebrities to try and live a certain lifestyle.
Ijo, you definitely cannot afford to wear something 1,000,000 times, even if you love it that much, because definitely they'll come at you.
She was exaggerating for emphasis, but yeah, you should be free to wear. I've repeated suits here, I repeat shirts, I repeat ties.
Do they see it?
Yes.
How come you're not coming at him? Tell us how much he bought the suit.
Because I'm not a celebrity.
Oh, who says that?
I'm not
like back from when I was in secondary school, you were a celebrity. But that's what it is, you know, today. And thank you so much for having me. We'll be back with some more stories tomorrow for you. But make sure you don't repeat this one tomorrow.
Okay, I hear you. All right, thank you very much, Ms. G, bringing us entertainment. That's it. We'll bring you sports right after this.